We got shirts on sale. Express your evolution and starter Pokemon love by buying an Evolution Family shirt and Which One starter shirt. Link will be in the description below. And our anime channel, Mystic Sage, is back. Join in for the 31-day straight of anime starting on August 1st. Go sub and turn on notifications so you don't miss an upload. The Pokemon anime, this series that makes my inner child get up and start cheering even now as I'm in my mid-20s. As a kid and even up to this day, the Pokemon anime has played such a heavy part in my life, whether I have been happy, sad, or upset by a certain aspect of my life. Watching the Pokemon anime has always managed to put a smile on my face one way or the other, and I have always been entertained by it one way or the other as well. Here's my take though. Regardless if I have been entertained or not, there are always some bad apples in the mix, and I think that some seasons of the Pokemon anime were worse than others. Today, I wanted to call out some of those bad seasons and rank all of the Pokemon anime seasons from worst to best. I have enjoyed all of the Pokemon anime seasons to an extent because hey, it's Pokemon. But there are some really bad seasons out there that bored me for several parts. There are some really cool highlights for certain seasons though that did keep me mildly entertained, but for the majority, some of the Pokemon seasons just felt stale. Now when ranking these Pokemon seasons, I'm not going to be taking each individual season like season 23, 24, and 25, as that would take way too long. I'm just going to be ranking them based on region to make it easier, which I think you guys will find easier too. When ranking these, it's going to be based on favoritism, nostalgia, and personal reasons why I like them or dislike them. There isn't going to be anything too in-depth, just a favorites ranking system. Alright, I think you guys know what's going on, and with that being said, let's rank the Pokemon anime. I don't think this is any surprise for anyone that Unova would be the worst Pokemon season. I think as a general consensus, most Pokemon fans just despise this season for several reasons. One major one being Iris. She's annoying, treats Ash like a child, and thinks she's so much better than a lot of people. Newsflash, she's not. But I will say I do like her Dragonite, so that's a plus. What makes me personally dislike this season are yes, Iris, but the rival mainly being Trip. Like, my god, what a freaking little crapper. He's a knockoff Paul and Gary by far. His attitude is so snarky and he isn't even a rival. He's just a jerk. I mean, yeah, Paul was too, but at least Ash had a reason to feel like that he had to do better. I was just so annoyed of Ash taking this little crapper's attitude. He's a rookie trainer with no experience at all whatsoever. And let's not even get started on how he lost the Unova League, only placing in the top 8, whereas before in Sinnoh, he got the top 4. Literally in this series, Ash felt like he was a beginner trainer again. And while I guess it's not a bad concept if you're looking to bring in new fans, but to be a complete idiot is another thing. The writers just made Ash so dumb in this arc, and the characters that were introduced were just garbage piles. Like, no thank you. There are two positives though. Despite me rambling about how much I dislike this section of the anime, I really did enjoy the backstories of Snivy and Tepig. These are cuties. But Oshawott is just downright irritating. I feel there's just too much forced enthusiasm and forced personality with this Pokemon. Every time it popped out of its Pokeball, I wanted to shut off my TV. But yeah, that was my rant on why I think the Unova anime season is the worst. Next up, we have the Orange Islands. Yeah, this series of the Pokemon anime isn't all that great neither. There are just so many inconsistent plot holes, and the reason why they got rid of Brock was because they thought he would be offensive to certain people, when in reality, Tracy offended us just by being present and just downright stupid. I can get into what I have to say about Tracy in a little bit. For now though, let's just go over the gyms in the Orange Islands. These trials are ridiculously dumb. One of the trials entails that the challenger must climb up a huge rocky canyon without the use of their Pokemon. Ash is a 10-year-old kid. Why the heck are you making a 10-year-old kid climb up the canyon by himself with no rope or security? Then he had to build a snow sled, and the entire logic behind making that was complete BS. Then some of the other challenges, such as knocking down cans and surfing back to the shore, it's like, nah, that's dumb. The Orange crew just seem like a bunch of chumps because it's Ash's only victory of a quote-unquote league. Then we get in the Tracy sketch it. Yeah, I swear this dude's name is actually that. He claims to be a great Pokemon watcher. Literally, he's the only Pokemon watcher I've ever seen in the entire Pokemon series. There are never any traces of Pokemon watchers ever again after Tracy takes his leave. He comes off as this know-it-all guy. It's like, oh hey, I'm a Pokemon watcher. But the only thing you're good at is being stale and not bringing personality to the table. Also claims to be a Pokemon watcher, yet he's always sketching the women he meets. Like, the dude's a creeper. What a terrible companion to just get replaced immediately by Brock again and become insignificant immediately. Tracy just rots in Oak's lab like Ash's unused Pokemon. Tracy sucks, and he and the Orange crew are what make me really dislike the Orange Islands. It was a dumb side plot that was just Ash being an errand boy for some stupid Pokeball that gets scrapped a season later. Hold on though, before you screw me and say, but Mystic, Charizard obeyed Ash in the series. Yes it did, and that was the best part of the entire series. But Charizard obeying Ash isn't going to convince me to put this higher because of one excellent highlight. One excellent highlight can't outweigh a garbage storm. Obviously, the Sun and Moon anime is still airing, so I couldn't really quite put it much higher as I would have liked to. Who knows, maybe this list will be completely obsolete by the time it finishes airing. Now, just because the Sun and Moon anime is this low on the list, doesn't mean I think it's bad at all. In fact, I think it's one of the better Pokemon anime. At first, like many people, I was put off a bit by the new art style. Ash just looked completely different and more childish compared to the Kalos anime that it just wrapped up. But as I began to watch the show and give it a fair chance, it started to grow on me. Not to mention they have been able to have some really well animated scenes, as the looser and more cartoonish character designs allow more fluid and fun animation. Since ShowPro really loves copyright claiming me, I'm not going to be able to play any footage in the video unfortunately, but this website right here has many amazing cuts from all the Pokemon series, so it's definitely worth checking out if you're a big fan of animation. I'll put that link in the description as well. But anyways, animation isn't the only positive thing the Pokemon Sun and Moon has going for it. The characters are great with real solid depth to some of them. It's fun just to watch when you're not really doing anything with all of the slice of life elements to it. And most importantly is that it fixed my major problem with the Sun and Moon games. Lusamine isn't absolutely crazy in the show, and that's a major plus for me. We even got the big Lusamine and Nihiliga fusion fight without having her to be a complete psychopath towards her children. This was also a nice lead into Ash and friends doing their Ultra Guardians arc, essentially becoming the Ultra Recon Squad. It was really refreshing to see all the Ultra Beasts being confused as to why they showed up in Alola, and everyone finding different ways to be able to send them back to their worlds, to the Ultra Wormholes. Ash got a Poipole at one point, which is really awesome. However, that didn't last too long as he eventually released it, just like all of his other Pokemon, shutting down the hope of him getting a Naganadel. But that's partly made up for him getting a Melton. Unless they decide to scratch over with that, maybe our boy will have a Melmetal for the Alola League. As of right now, we're just beginning the Alola League, so that should probably go on for a couple months. I'm really hoping that this time, Ash will be able to win a league. I did a video about which Pokemon I think he should bring back to the league, so maybe check that video out as well when you're done here. So yeah, overall, I've been absolutely loving the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime. There's been so many good character developments and battles that really rival many of the other Pokemon series. I really have to say that even though Ash looks and acts super kiddish in this series, it's also shown a lot of growth in him as well, which is all we can really ask for. Coming right into the middle of the list is the OG Kanto anime. This anime has a lot of nostalgic value in it, as well as just being one of the better series. It's where it all started, and there was a lot of good to come out of this series. It really conveyed the sense of travel and adventure a lot more than most of the other series. It gave us the beginning of Ash and Pikachu's journey together, Misty and Brock, Gary frickin' Oak, Team Rocket blasting off again, his stubborn Charizard, Metapod using Harden, the Pokemon rap, and of course, the unforgettable opening. There were just so many iconic moments that came from this series. Honestly, I could probably go on for about 20 minutes alone, talking about all the most memorable scenes in the original series. But I suppose I'll just say that for another time. Much like the Sun and Moon anime, they really played off of the characters interacting with one another and being dumb and goofy kids, just having a good time with the occasional serious moment thrown in there. The Kanto anime has played such an important role in many Pokemon fans' lives that it would have been wrong to put it any lower than this on the list. On a side note, I wonder if Ash will recall the giant Dragonite from the lighthouse once he gets to Galar and sees Dynamax and Gigantamax Pokemon for the first time. He'll probably even have a few himself, so that's definitely going to be exciting to see once we get there. Let me just say, Johto is my absolute favorite region of all time, and I think this was a great arc of Pokemon. However, I will say it's not the best. It's great, but nowhere near the best. Just because it's not the best though, doesn't mean I don't have great things to say about it. Ash captured a lot of Pokemon here, like Chikorita, and my goodness was that Pokemon and his Bayleaf precious. She is the sweetest Pokemon Ash owns. There were a lot of excellent gym battles, a lot of rivalry between Ash and Gary, and that even resulted in a victory for Ash. We got to see Ash put Charizard in Charcivic Valley, and then later on in the series we got to see it against Claire and in the Johto League. I think it's still BS that Charizard lost to a Blaziken, but I mean, hey, it wasn't a bad fight. Ash learned a lot this season of Pokemon, and he improved as a trainer quite a bit too. In this season, you can start to see the improvement of Ash, and it's a cool tidbit to see. Unfortunately, we got to see Pokemon like Squirtle and Bulbasaur get sent off, but I mean, hey, it's not a bad thing. I'm glad we got to see Ash use different Pokemon as we got to see newer seasons. On top of the fact that Pokemon Gold and Silver are my favorite Pokemon games, I had to support the anime for it. It was a really fun one to watch. Every Saturday morning as a kid, on Kids WB at 9 AM, I would wake up and watch the Pokemon Johto series every single Saturday. Didn't miss a single one. I wear that crown proudly, still to this day. Coming up after Johto, we got the Hoenn region. Now at first, I was surprised that I put Hoenn so high, and then I realized it was because Ash actually started to show a lot of growth. Ash comes into Hoenn with only his Pikachu. He wants to start off on a brand new slate, and honestly, that's respectable. Regardless of if he only had Pikachu with him at the beginning, Ash still showed that he had a great promise for battling, and showed his promise as a trainer. He demonstrated this at the Petalburg gym when he first met up with Max. The entire Hoenn arc, Ash actually felt like a teacher. He taught May the basics of Pokemon, how to capture one, type advantages, etc. May of course had her own own journey as a Pokemon coordinator, and I thought that plot added to Ash's was awesome. It was the birth of something brand new to the Pokemon anime series. We had 2 main characters instead of 1, and rather than Ash constantly getting the spotlight and learning new things, May did as well. Ash of course met some rivals along the way, and they were alright for the most part, but May had some fantastic rivals like Drew. They had a very interesting relationship where I think Drew actually liked her. That's why he would always leave her a rose behind. He was a snarky but polite guy, and I like him a lot for that. May had her own journey to follow, and it wasn't just revolving around Ash this time. We got to see May start off as a coordinator and then follow that success over to the Battle Frontier and beyond. Might I also mention, Ash did complete the Battle Frontier in this arc. Yes, the Battle Frontier was in Kanto, but we had Hoenn characters, so I still count that as a Hoenn arc. Ash used some of his old Pokemon, and we got to see little Phanpy evolve into Donphan too. The Hoenn arc was an amazing arc of Pokemon, and I feel that we got to see Ash at one of the best times as a Pokemon trainer. Sinnoh is such an amazing arc for the Pokemon anime. Holy cow. We got a lot of new characters, great new rivals, and such an incredible roster of battles. Oh god, where do I even start? Ash had an incredible team of Pokemon. We saw a lot of personality between all of his Pokemon and him as a trainer. First off, we got Chimchar, that Ash got from Paul. Paul abandoned it, and Ash raised it all the way from the bottom into the Pokemon we know today. Then Ash traded his Apom for Don's Buizel, and we got to see that beautiful change of character development. That battle between Buizel and Maylene's Lucario was awesome too. Speaking of battles, how about all the battles with Paul and the amazing build-up we got to see at the end of the Sinnoh League? Paul is the best rival the Pokemon anime has ever seen. He was a huge jerk, but he pushed Ash, and the battles he had with Ash were some of the best battles Ash has ever had in the entire series. The amount of strategy that went into the final one in the Sinnoh League was amazing. Paul is the majority of the reason why I love the Sinnoh arc as much as I do, but there are some others as well, don't worry. Dawn as a coordinator was really cool to see, and the relationship she had with May was really cordial. Dawn really grew as a person and a coordinator, and to me, it was just like Hoenn, in the sense of it didn't feel like it was just Ash's story. But both Ash and Dawn really grew up in this era of Pokemon. Ash got to use Pokemon he captured in the past for the Sinnoh League, and that was the coolest feature ever. Ash seriously needs to do that more often. Plus there's Tobias and the epic battle Ash had with him. That was incredible to watch. God, Sinnoh was such an incredible arc of Pokemon. I think everyone knows what the best Pokemon anime season is. That being said, it's Kalos. The best female protagonist, Serena, got introduced to us here, and she had some of the best character development of any character in the Pokemon anime series. We got to see her grow into the person she was at the end of Kalos, and she had some really amazing Pokemon too. Ash was an excellent trainer here, having his absolute peak performance in the league, where he scored 2nd place using the amazing Ash Greninja. He had a lot of great Pokemon in this arc, and while yes, he did release some, he had good reasonings as to why he did, so I think I can forgive him. The Kalos arc to me was just flawless, and there's just something wrong with it. I rest my case. Well, those are my rankings of all the Pokemon anime seasons from worst to best. Aside from Unova and the Orange Islands, I love most of the different seasons of the Pokemon anime. I definitely think this list has the potential of changing up a bit in the future, depending on how the Sun and Moon anime wraps up, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'm really hoping that we can see some pretty amazing stuff during the Unova League. It also has me really curious as to see what the Sword and Shield anime will be like. Will it be more like Sun and Moon, or will it return to how things were like in the Kalos anime? Only time will tell, but either way, I'm looking forward to it. What were your favorite seasons of the Pokemon anime though? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, why not leave a like and subscribe to my channel with notifications on, that way you never miss an upload. If you want to support me further, consider following my Twitch where I stream a lot of Pokemon content and Nintendo content like shiny hunting, showdown battles, Explorers of Sky, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Smash Brothers, Borderlands, you name it, I play it. Want to support me further in game club perks? Check out my Patreon. Daniel Leone, Lady Crimson, Pal491, The Lazy Leo, Matthew Young, Awesome Lego, Jarrett Weezosted, and Sodden Grider did, and I want to thank them personally for going above and beyond. It means the world to me. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mr. Gumbrian, and I will see you in the future for more awesome Pokemon content.